We are gonna get started. If you're online, I just want to make sure you guys know this. We are having some internet issues. If by chance, for any reason, the internet gets disconnected, I don't have the phone because we are using our hotspot. The Wi-Fi at the center is not working for some reason. So remember, we are recording everything. So in just worst case scenario, something happens, you won't lose anything. But at the same time, I want to make sure that we are trying our hardest to make sure that that doesn't happen. So just be aware of it, and we'll go, plan accordingly. And I know some of you guys have told me that they're going to help me with their hotspot, just in case. Okay, we'll see how it goes. All right. So last week, Aubrey and Recover here. So just how did it go last week? Were you guys here? Okay. Any concerns? Any complaints? And you gotta be very clear with me on that one. And same with online students, because and I think it was in summer 2017 or so, or 18, we had a group of students. They didn't talk a word in the class. Online, face to face, no, nothing. There was like pin drop silence. After the end of the semester, one of the parent texts says, "Oh, one of our kid has this problem." And I asked her, "I've been asking this question for such a long time. Why didn't they tell me this?" Okay, we could fix right away. Okay, so if there is any genuine concerns you have, let me know. Okay, how did the English go? Did it was it helpful? Okay, it might start with the easy, but the December test we had 8 students get a 36 from Recove's class. 8 students. That's pretty decent, right? Perfect 36 for English. We had 4 in science get a 36, which is an important thing I want to discuss. This is the first time I'm doing this, so listen to this very carefully. So either today, most likely today, I'll be uploading a video from my last semester lecture on ACT Science. You have to watch it before you come next Sunday, because I would like to save some time for myself to do more passages based on the feedback we received last time. So, but if you don't watch it, next Sunday will be so confusing for you guys. It's going to be around 50 minutes. So all of you must watch the video without fail. And you got to come prepared for the class on Sunday, and we're going to start with ACT Science next week. That's the reason, actually, I'm not starting with ACT Science today, because I just don't want to eat up my time, which you can actually learn by that video. And there's something I've planned. I think it's going to work really well. Okay, so really be looking forward to that video. And I would rather have you watch that video twice if possible. One is minimum, of course, but twice is better. And that turned out to be the turning point for the December test. We had, I believe, 4 got 36 in science, 2 got 36 in math, and I think 4 got 36 in reading. So we had exemplary December performance. It was like off the charts performance. Of course, it starts from you guys, okay? You got to make the efforts. The next thing is homework. I would like to know if you have not done the homework week 1 and week 2 so far. Anybody online? Good. I would like to stay that way, okay? If you don't, it's just a reason, okay? I can come up with 1,000 reasons why you have not done it. All right? I don't believe in reasons. I don't have time for reasons. Sounds fair? Good. Keep it that way. Next. How many of you are taking the April test? The April ACT test? Have you signed up? So write down. First up, step number 1, write down today. Watch the science video so that you won't forget it. And second is Register for the April test.
You want us to register for the one after that too?
April for sure. Fair enough? Okay. Any questions for me so far? Anything you want to discuss?
I had a question on the homework.
Yeah, Blake.
From the red book, one of the math ones was really confusing.
Was it
It's
a
like,
question?
yeah, it's about like figuring out. It's number 9 on page 232 of the red book. It's talking about like, it's like an elementary algebra question, but like, it was really confusing to figure out how they solved for. It was talking about she drove faster than usual, and you have to figure out what her normal driving speed is.
Yeah. Take a picture and send it to me by text message after the class today.
Okay.
And that's the same thing for you guys. I like that. Keep it simple, okay? Text me, I'll solve it, put it in the group. This question is how well do we learn is the focus, okay? How well and how much you want to learn. That desperation is the difference. That is what you got. I always look in students when I hire employees at the college. What I look is the desperation. Are they desperate to work here? Or is it just a stop by arrangement? Are you desperate to learn? So pre-COVID, when we had more on face-to-face students, I could read them much easily than, of course, the online students. But I could easily read them. I had students who used to come 2 minutes late. The same students came late consistently. And those are the same students who did not score good. When you come late, that means you really are not invested, right? These are the symptoms, okay? These are the symptoms I look for. So, last week I was in Washington, D.C. for my fellowship. This was done by the Aspen Institute and Stanford University. So I was one of the 25 presidents who have been selected for this. So it was an eye-opener. I ended up meeting a lot of top people. It was intense 13-hour class for 4 days. 13 hours, non-stop. Then my flight got delayed in Detroit, so I had to stay in Detroit. And I had to catch a flight at 4 a.m. next day. This is the result of this. So I'm kind of pissed with the airlines, but they don't give a two shits about it either. So, yeah, they don't. The point here is I don't see myself missing any more classes. That was planned, by the way. There may be one, but it's all planned out. We have structured it very well, okay? But I want an open line of communications, okay? I want straightforward, no sugarcoating things, okay? If there is something we are doing wrong, just say it. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. I will get hurt if you don't tell me that, because I don't have time for being nice. My job is to train you guys. That's all I care about. Fair enough? All right. Game on. Let's get started. So we did trig the first day, right? Okay, we're gonna do trig again later on. So we're gonna continue, okay? Open page 15 of the math packet. So we're gonna shift to algebra a little bit. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed the online, my internet stays good, so we'll see. Page 15, equation C, okay? That's the focus. Difference of squares. Has anybody not seen it? Okay, if you have not seen it, I really have problems for basically, if you have not seen difference of squares. It is one of the most fundamental algebraic equation. You're gonna take it to the college, okay? You're gonna use it a lot. All right, so let's get started. First problem, okay? Because you guys know this, so I don't wanna waste time. Let me go and get So difference of squares, a squared minus b squared, when factorized, is a plus b times a minus b. That what it means is, when I factorize, I get this. When I FOIL, I go back to this. Okay? So FOIL and factorization are opposite processes, which of course you guys know that, right? So when you FOIL, you get this. When you factor, you get this. People are usually good with this. People are not so good with this one. So, I want to go in detail right away. Start with easy question, which you may see it in the first 10 actually. Question number 1, factorize x squared minus 64. Let's go. And I want to do boom, 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 and keep it moving. So remember the standing instructions. Once you're done, if you're here, raise your hands. If you're online, tell me your name. You should take 10 seconds. Okay, for this one. All right. X plus 8. X minus 8. If you have any questions, you gotta stop me. Doesn't matter how easy it is, okay? Second question, factorize x raised to 6 minus y raised to 8. So this is a mid-30 question or mid-40 question, between 35 and 40-ish question. I've seen students make mistake in this. 1. 2, 3. How many are confident in your answer? For me, being confident is a big turn on for me. If anybody is confident, that is an amazing thing. Not many are confident. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's see. So let's go back to the fundamentals of difference of squares. That means these are perfect squares, right? This is a perfect square, this is a perfect square. That's why it's a difference of squares. It's a binomial term per se. But right now, this doesn't look like a perfect square, right? But you can convert this into a perfect square. X cubed raised to 2. So there is a formula called a raised to m raised to n is equal to a raised to m times n. A raised to m raised to n is a raised to m times n. 3 times 2 is 6. The 2 should be outside because difference of squares. The 2 should be outside. Minus y raised to 4 raised to 8. Raised to 2. Now this is a squared minus b squared. A plus b, a minus b. Now, you should be so confident that I don't have to even tell you this, because if I FOIL this, I should get back to this. That's fun basics. People with basics can check their answers like this. And that's what I want you guys to be. You're my students. That's all I care about. So you don't have to even worry about anything. FOIL it, you should get back to this. How many got this? 1, 2, 3, a lot of people. But you are not confident though. You are not confident. Next question. And again, if you have questions, you gotta stop me. I repeat this all the time because I've learned one thing, that when you have a question and your question doesn't get addressed, that's the most frustrating part of the learning. Question number C. Factorize. Eight x squared minus 200. you're confident. 1, 2, 3. All right. So let me repeat what I just said. It's difference of squares, right? Difference of squares. That means they should be perfect squares. X squared is perfect. 8 is not. 200 is not. Okay? So, when you have a two terms which are not perfect squares, see if you can convert them to perfect squares. In this case, by factorizing, 8 is common, x squared minus 25. So 8 times x plus 5, x minus 5. This was an ACT question number 44. How many got this? Not happy. Any questions? I would like all students to repeat these two problems. Do it again. Go.
Could you do a different way?
Tell me.
Could you divide both by 2?
No.
You couldn't do that way?
No.
Okay.
Why you cannot divide by 2? Let's
You have
go.
to, okay.
Tell me, let's see. I want to hear from others. He said, can we divide by 2? My answer is no. Tell me why. Simple math 101.
Because you can't just divide by 2, because you're getting rid of it.
Why? That's the question. Why? Why can't I do that?
Because you're like not making up for it.
You're not making up for it. The rule to remember in math is if you do a function on one side, it should be done on the other side. Is there an other side to this? So you have to have an equality or an inequality to conduct any operations. By dividing by 2, you're changing the problem itself because you don't have counterbalance on the other side. Math 101. I remember this, it was taught to us in 3rd grade. Never ever touch one side of the equation if we don't have the other side. And boy, it was repeated to us like 1,000 times. And this is the first mistake people do. You know, funniest thing is, when I divide by 2, what happens? You get 4x squared minus 100, okay? Then you get 2x plus 10 times 2x minus 10, and then you take the 2 out. And that was actually an answer choice. That actually was an answer choice. So when we write, I was actually had a chance to be an ACT math and science test writer actually. They had selected me. I didn't go there because of the company I'm in. But we are trained to think like students. So when we get the 5 answer choices, one is usually stupid. Okay, and some people still select that. That's only God can save them. But the remaining 4 are very well thought wrong answers, 3 at least. I want you both, all of you, to repeat these 2 problems. Online students, your work, the internet is good. You are able to see me?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. We'll see how long it goes. You guys good? Any questions? Next problem. Factorize x squared plus 64. How many are confident about your answers? Not confidence. Let me tell you how this problem was given. This problem was given same exact question twice in a two different tests. This once was a question number 8, one was a question number 55. And it's, of course, two different tests. Same exact problem though. So I want you to guess, educated guess of course, why this question would be a question number 8, which is a tier 1 problem, that's the easy problem, and the same problem is a tier 3 problem in a different test.
It's one that kind of tries to trick you into thinking that it's something that's a lot more simple than it is.
Okay, all right. Not on this one actually, but it's a good answer. Yeah.
It's because of the knowledge, like the people have the knowledge of how to solve this on one way, like they're trying to trick people.
Tell me your answers. Anybody answer what you guys got, and I'll tell you it's right or wrong. Yeah.
X squared plus 16x plus 64.
No. How many got that one? No.
You can't factor it, can you?
What's that?
You can't factor it.
All right. That was question number 8. It cannot be factored. But what is the technical term that they use for something I cannot factor? I'll give a candy if you get this right.
Would it be no real solutions?
No. There is a real solution, but it cannot be factorized. You're right.
No real solution.
Oh my, no.
No.
Come on, think.
Irrational.
No. Okay, let me go back to first grade. Okay? Or maybe second grade for you guys. What is a number called when it cannot be factorized? Please answer me this.
Prime?
Thank God. I was worried you guys were like, oh my God, like we have to go back to second grade now. Prime. The answer was called prime. This is what they wrote. Something that can be factorized is called a? No, something that can be factorized is called a? This is prime, the other one is a? These are all composites. Remember prime numbers and composite numbers? Even if you don't know, start faking it for me. Okay, let's keep me happy here. Prime numbers, right? Actually, that was the answer choice. Question number 8, C option. Now, this was another question which is on 55, but the answer is nowhere near with the wording prime. What did they do? And of course, I can start solving and be done with it. I want you to brainstorm ideas, like think.
They may have used I.
Smart. See, this is what school is about. This is the best way for you to think. See what they did. They converted this to a positive binomial to a difference of squares using I. I squared is
Negative 1.
-1. Is there anybody who doesn't know that? Lily, you're shaking your head. You don't know?
No, I know it.
You know it. Okay? Converting a positive binomial to a difference of squares using i's. Then, of course, it becomes x squared, a squared minus b squared, a plus b, a minus b. Of course, this is easy stuff. This is easy. This is classy. That's why it was question number 55. Yes?
What about this formula?
Nope. There is a trinomial in it. A plus b squared is a squared plus b squared plus 2ab. You have only two terms here. There's no 16x here. If it was 16x, it would be x plus 8 squared. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Not sure?
Not sure.
Okay, good. Ask that one. So what she's saying is this equal to x plus 8 squared? X squared, if you factorize, if you FOIL it, it comes to x squared plus 64 plus 16x. But is there a 16x here. So this is not equal. This is a plus b square. This is a square plus b square. The 2ab is missing. That's why you have to convert a binomial to still a binomial, because this is a trinomial. Make sense? But at least you guys are understanding the difference between a plus b square, a minus b square, and a square minus b square. Why there is a subtle difference? Because those two give a trinomial, the third one gives a binomial. Make sense? You guys know I squared? Because that's the next section. After this is done, we go to i's. That's why I want to make sure. So if I squared is -1, so what is I equal to?
Square root of negative.
Square root of? -1. Good? Last question in difference of squares. Factorize. This was question number 60. A raised to 16 minus 16. Let me tell you exact wording of this problem in the ACT test. Factorize a raised to 16 minus 16 to the lowest terms was the question. Go. Again, if you haven't answered, raise your hands. How many are confident about your answer? 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember, when there's a 60th question, tend to be either long or difficult or both. Only once I've seen a fake 60th question where it was actually it could have done in 10 seconds. It's very rare they do that. But historically, long, difficult, or both. Sometimes some 60th questions have been really difficult. Okay, so we'll see. Difference of squares, right? Fundamentals never change. The two in the outside never change. So a raised to 8, 2, that's 8 times 2 is 16 minus 4 squared. So is a raised to 8 plus 4, a raised to 8 minus 4. How many got this? 1, 2, 3. But it's not done. Because this cannot be factorized, this is prime, but this can be further factorized because it's a perfect square. So a raised to 8 plus 4, we can't touch it. But now this can be a raised to 4 squared minus 2 squared. So a raised to 8 plus 4, a raised to 4 plus 2, a raised to 4 minus 2. How many got this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Good job. Why have to stop here? Quick.
2 is prime.
2 is not a perfect square. 2 is not a perfect square. It's a difference of squares. This is an important problem. Funniest thing is the answer choice of A was this. 99.2% of the entire student body who took the test, that test got wrong. Only 0.8% got this right. Over 100,000 students took that test. Got to be desperate. Got to be That's the difference. The 0.8% either are very good, desperate, or both. That's what I always focus on. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to think through all 5 problems and see if your concepts are solid. And if you have questions, ask me. 2 minutes. If you can learn here, you won't learn it at all. Period. Simple and there. No, simple. You guys good? Any questions, final thoughts, comments? We move to imaginary numbers. Everybody get your calculators? Do you know where I is in your calculator? Yes or no?
Yeah.
If you don't know, it's second decimal point. And I want to make sure that everybody's getting that. Online students, you got to be responding by some sort of indications to me that you're following this. Okay. All good? So I've changed this section of teaching a little bit more because of, and I think I blame myself a little bit for assuming that students understand complex numbers. So this is first time in 15 years I'm making this change, small change. So listen up, stop writing, and there's nothing for you to write down. It should be here, okay? Have you heard the number complex number? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Complex number is the only number that covers all types of numbers. Real, imaginary, rational, irrational. It's the umbrella in mathematics. It's a complex number. Represented by a simple term, a plus bi, where a is the real, b is the coefficient of an imaginary number. So, if I ask you to write 5, just number 5 as a complex number, I can write it as 5 plus 0i, right? Every number is a complex number. So let me repeat. Every number is a complex number. You should never forget that. Never. This is the real component. This is the imaginary component. Combined together becomes a complex number. That's why we study so much on I, because it is a part of the complex number. What is the conjugate of the complex number a plus bi?
A minus bi.
Conjugate of complex number, excellent, is a minus bi. You need to know that. I don't want you to write anything, okay, please. This is easy, writing is easy, understanding is important. So first thing I'm going to start going into is the simplification of using conjugates, okay? I have a question for you then. You answered this question. This is correct, by the way. If a minus bi is the conjugate of a plus bi, what's the conjugate of I? And I've never taught this way. So this is the first change.
Negative I. Just I.
Just I. So tell me why just I?
because it's
What do you solve by conjugation? That's what we discussed the first day, right? When I taught here on the pre-calc day, we talked about the conjugation. What is the significance of conjugation? People know how to conjugate. People don't know why they're conjugating. So I want you to tell me why the conjugate of I is I.
I don't know.
Is it is it because of the square root? You can't have a negative square root.
Anybody? We'll give you a candy. There's 2 candies at a stake here. Yeah.
Would it still be irrational either way? if
Nope.
it's- or-
Mm-mm.
Well, I know you use the conjugate when you're trying to get a square out of the bottom, out of the denominator.
Square root.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're trying to get rid of a complex number, or to like cancel out.
Getting close. Half, quarter answer. Still half remaining. The simplest reason for conjugation is to get rid of a radical in the denominator. I think you're kind of partially right as well, because I is square root negative 1. So I times I becomes I squared, which is negative 1, and the radical is gone. So anytime you do a conjugation, the only thing it is trying to do is to remove the radical in the denominator. That's why conjugation came into existence. That's why you multiply and divide, because you cannot do it only one side. You have to do it on the other side too. If there is a top, there's a bottom as well. Make sense? Now get your calculators. No, don't write anything. I want to do everything first by calculator. So let me ask you a simple question. And this is how it's going to be stated, okay? So this is what? A, B, C, D, E. Let's call this question F. Simplify 1 divided by 1 plus I. Do it in the calculator. And you'll be amazed how many people get this wrong actually in the calculator. Yeah, raise your hands. I want to know if you get it. You got to be confident on this. Okay, tell me what you got.
0.5 minus 0.5i.
Did anybody else get it? Did you get it? What do you think? Why do you think I'm so worried?
You need parentheses.
Beautiful. You gotta put this in the parentheses. So another math 101, third grade math 101. Over parentheses never hurts you. Under parentheses will screw you. That was not taught us in third grade, the screwing part, but we added it on as we learned. Thanks. You guys got it? Parentheses. It's so important. So when I see this problem, I want you to do this in the calculator like this. Your job is to do the math correctly to get the right answer in ACT, not to show that you know the steps to get it. That's, of course, is the next part of our preparation. There's a quick method, there's a detailed method. I want quick method right now, knowing how the detailed method works as well. Now, let's say you don't have the calculator, or your calculator dies, which has happened December 2009. My first student, when I moved to Dunes, she was doing question number 3 in the ACT math, and her calculator died, and I told her to take 2 calculators. She threw up during the test. She still remembers me, because I will never forget that incident, because every time I see her, like, hey, do you remember? And she's like, shut up. And, so, you multiply and divide by conjugate. You multiply and divide by conjugate. That's why you do it. Why you're trying to do this? Because by doing this, you can simplify the bottom and remove the radical if there is a radical. So what happens? Of course, it's simple. For all things, 1 minus I divided by a plus b times a minus b is a squared minus b squared. That's why we studied this. So you can do this problem. 1 minus I divided by 1 minus of minus 1 is 2. So it'll be half minus half I, which is a complex number. A plus bi format. Or 0.5 minus 0.5i. Make sense? This is all easy. this is important. Why do you do this? Schools focus on how you do it. So when you go to college, there's a differential between your high school thinking and college thinking because you're used to how. College expects you to think why. That gradient between K-12 and K-13 is the reason why you have the highest dropouts in fall semester in your freshman year. Because those dropouts are single reason is they can't think. Because they're not told, devised to think. And I can control those students. You're my students, so I'm going to ask you to think. I would rather you get a problem wrong, but at least you're thinking. Answers means nothing if your thought process is not there. Go ahead and do this right now. This is so important. This is so important. Excuse me. Just make sure to stay right after the class. Yeah, stay right after the class. I need to talk to both of you. Am I going fast? Is the speed is good? The last thing I want is that you feel rushed. I don't want that. I want detailed, not rushed. Okay. You guys good? Does this make
Yes.
sense? This portion? This is easy. I'm not really worried about this, but this one. Good?
Why did we only substitute the -1 into the bottom?
You mean here?
Yeah.
So 1 squared is 1 minus. I squared is -1. So minus of minus becomes plus. So 1 plus 1 is 2.
But why didn't we do it on the top? That's is what I was asking.
Oh, there is no I squared term here. Because 1 times 1.
Okay.
Question number, so we are in F, so we go to G. First, get your calculators. So do this very quickly in your calculator, and I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. Simplify, 3 minus I divided by I. Go. Boom, 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 boom. If you're good, it'll take 10 seconds. If you're great, 9 seconds. If you're not good, 11 seconds. That's what should be. You guys done? What do you got?
-1 minus 3i.
-1 minus?
3.
You guys got that? Now do it manually. You should do it now. Good? Any questions? How confident are you about this material so far? You feeling good? I can see that in the body language, trust me. Difference of squares, yeah, still some of you were showing some symptoms. Feel better here. Next question. Use a calculator again. Last one. 1 minus I divided by 4 plus I. So last week Aubrey taught you guys what? Parabolas? Quadratics? How is your basics in quadratics? Did you feel good when she was doing stuff? Not the quadratic formula, all those are the easy ones. But did you feel like, okay, I know the basics of quadratics, the parabolas? Did she go into vortex form? Or just a main standard formula? Ax squared plus bx plus c.
Just the main one.
Okay. Alright. You guys done? What is your answer?
3 over 17 minus 5 over 17.
You guys got that?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, let's do it without the calculator. Maybe I didn't hear you correctly. Is this correct? Is this what you guys got?
Yeah.
Okay.
Manoj,
Yeah.
will they sometimes not split it up into two fractions?
So majority times they don't actually. They keep it as three. This is the answer they keep. You know why I'm doing this? Because now you're exposed to complex number. That's the difference. I never used to go into one more step, so I wanted to clarify that. Just in case you guys get to see this as an answer choice, you should be able to go this or this. That's the reason we went here. Don't ask me too many questions on this. I don't want to get into too many details on this concept called modulus of complex numbers. Modulus of complex number. Modulus of complex number M absolute is equal to square root of a squared plus b squared in a plus bi. So if you have a complex number in the form a plus bi, the modulus of the complex number is square root of a squared plus b squared. So let me ask you a simple question. What does it usually resemble, which this formula, what does it look like? Something you guys have seen a lot in your life. What is it? You have something seen, square root of a squared plus b squared. Come on.
Hypotenuse.
Yeah, what is that formula called? What's the
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem, remember? So this is actually is it kind of like Pythagorean theorem actually. Okay, so it's actually measuring distance. That's why it's absolute value measured distance. One time I've seen this question on modulus. I've not seen it lately, but I just wanted to see, especially knowing if you guys know the complex number and if they throw in the modulus, what is the modulus of 3 plus 1i or whatever it is, you immediately know the formula, square root of a squared plus b squared. It's positive value. Okay. All right. Any questions? How are you feeling? Okay. You have a 5 minutes break. Okay. Online students, stay there. Hoping internet works. Fingers crossed. Bye-bye. See you next week and watch the video, the science video. Otherwise, you'll be really left behind next Sunday.